Hello! Today is Tuesday, July 24th, 2021. It's a beautiful day here in Shenzhen, China. A little on the warm side. It's still getting to the end of summer, so looking forward to some cooler weather coming up soon. Can do a little bit of a chat here. Hope you don't mind. Sometimes I'm not that great on putting my thoughts all together, so I've made just a couple of talking points. The first one being that I'm Canadian. I am Canadian. You've seen the commercials, maybe, I don't know.
So I hear you're from Canada.
Yeah.
How's it going, eh? Do you want a donut? I thought all they had up in Canada were lumberjacks and curlers. Is there running water up there? Where's your tube, gay? New dude beauty.
I'm Canadian!
But anyway, I'm Canadian, so if I want to talk about the Canadian government, the Canadian system, the Canadian people, any part of Canada, I feel I have kind of a right to do that. And I don't think anybody really can say anything bad about that. As being a Canadian, so. But there's people out there that produce videos just to feed a racist audience. And I don't agree with that. I think that's unkosher, it's not cool, it's kind of a bad thing. It's not their country. I think you know which country I'm talking about, but anyway. They do produce videos, some people produce videos to feed a racist audience. Like, for example, this whole green grass thing in China. Oh, they spray the grass. And I don't know for a fact that there isn't a spray paint for grass that doesn't have some kind of fertilizer in it. That might be. But actually, if there isn't, there's a good idea for you to invest in something, because spray painting grass is something that's quite popular also in the U.S. There's several different brands. We've got one here from Oklahoma, made in USA. We've got another one here from, where is this from? Georgia. Another one from Georgia. Those are just two that, if you quickly Google it, you'll come up with those two at least, but there's probably more. You can buy it on Amazon. You can probably buy it in Walmart. Any place, especially like you think California, in places where they have sometimes shortage of water, that people would know about that. That some people are spray painting their grass to make it green rather than using the water. So anyway, there's the kind of typical topic that some people would talk about. Another popular one is COVID and COVID restrictions. And the way that some people talk about COVID restrictions is that all of China is being welded into their houses, their apartments, and those kind of things. That's just not true. Actually, even since the whole pandemic started, I've never actually had any specific restrictions. I've never been told any restrictions. I've never been barred from going anywhere without a health code. I do need to show a health code, but that's because probably people that don't believe in the virus or virus protection won't understand this, but it's through very strict tracking that this is able to be kept under control. Cities are rated by the level of risk, and if you're in a high-risk city, like here in Shenzhen, there's been a couple of times when we were like a low risk or medium risk. And at those times, you absolutely had to show your health code to go into shopping malls, go into supermarkets, go into Walmart. An outbreak here in China, let's compare it to the U.S. Like I said, I don't want to say bad things about, I lived in the U.S. actually for many years. I lived in Florida, in Miami Lakes, Florida. I lived in Long Island, New York. And I lived near Dayton, Ohio for many years. So I have many memories of my life in the U.S. and I think I should be, just the same, not the same as I should be able to complain about Canada, but not complain about the US, but I should be able to retell my memories about the US, things that I experienced, good and or bad. I should be able to talk about those, and nobody can really say anything about that. Those are my experiences. I'm talking about when people just want to run down a government, some government that's not even their government. They don't have to experience the things that are going on due to the government. You know, there's probably plenty of things with every government that people could find wrong. Anyway, with the COVID restrictions, when COVID first started, I do remember that I remember seeing a funny video on WeChat about two people walking down a hallway in an apartment building and kind of, you know, going to the extreme wall to get by each other. That actually happened to me. It's, you know, at first we didn't really know what was going on. We knew it was spreading very quickly, and everybody was afraid of everybody. But I've never had any restriction. They do. Let's say you're in a low risk area or medium risk area. They will block off city blocks, and they'll ask you to show your health code to enter or exit. Actually, not exit. Exit's normally you can just leave, but obviously they know you've been there. And if there's a case that comes up in there, you're probably going to be quarantined. You're probably not going to like it, but that's how they've been able to control this damn thing. Like I was just about to say maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago, that an outbreak in China was, I think it was several provinces, but there were 74 cases. It was imported, or there was a pilot or something that came in that had it, and then the cleaning staff from the airplane caught it, and because it spread at the airport, that's the worst place it could possibly spread, then it spread to several provinces, but they nailed it. They nipped it in the bud by these QR codes with the health codes and whatnot, doing the contact tracing and demanding that people, if you were in direct contact with somebody there at that airport, you probably had to quarantine. I mean, not just, I know somebody that was there at the airport around that time, but very, very specific times. The person that I know that was there at the airport did have to get tested, and more than once, but didn't have to do any quarantine. I think people there were there at specific times when the cleaning people or whatever. I mean, you kind of get the message here that they have these regimens that work very well. I'm going to put this is just today or yesterday that CNN posted this article that China yesterday reported the first day with zero cases. Okay, now let's look at the population of China, 1.4 billion compared to the US. Yesterday's zero. A month ago we had 74 cases. Some people might think, Wu Jiao, you must be saying 74,000 or something, or 740. No, I'm saying 74 cases. And we went into a mode, not we, I mean I didn't, but certain areas, if you went into certain areas, you probably would have to show health codes and travel codes actually also. We have a thing called travel codes that comes on WeChat, and it can show where you've been, and if you've been to certain places, then you might have trouble getting into them all. But like I said, I've never experienced it. I do experience, I've never experienced actually being requested to wear a mask either, other than on private property, public transportation. You do have to wear a mask. On the subway today, you have to show health codes to get in, and you have to wear a mask to ride the subway. There you go, that's the level of, it's not all throughout China that everybody's getting welded into their apartments. In the CNN article that I put right here, take a look. Yeah, some people like to make these videos that are just so, they scour the internet looking for bad things to say about China and to feed their racist audience. Maybe they're not racist, I don't know, but if you look at some of the questions that people post in these videos to them, and you know, of course, with their super chats so that they can get paid for it. Look at some of the questions. You can see that they're asking those questions because they think they're going to get a racist answer. And I think it's really rich for an American to be making a video on China-Taliban relationship at this time. everybody, I think probably most people can understand that, but that's just rich, you know, like, you know, mess caused there and like 200,000 people dead by some other country's intervention. And some American wants to make a video and start talking about China and China's relationship with the Taliban, where obviously the US was the first to have a meeting and agreement with them, a contract with them. And that's, the whole thing kind of snowballed from there, but you know, and I find it pretty insensitive to make jokes about beheadings. I mean, that's just pathetic. Anyway, take a look at this house here, this number one house here. I mean, talk about psychopaths. I read somewhere that in the US, between 1% and 4% of people in the US are psychopaths. So let's say you had 850,000 subscribers. Just, you know, off the top of my head. I mean, I don't know who lives in this house. I'm just using it for an example here. Let's say you had 850,000 subscribers. That means between 8,400 and 34,000 people that are subscribers potentially are psychopaths. So you might not want your address to get out there. You know, it might be something that you're kind of private about. But look at the second house. You know, if you live here, I'm sure that you probably, you know, I mean, you make videos about somebody else's country, and there's a lot of those countrymen in your country. Probably you wouldn't want your address getting out to these people. You know, it might be something that you'd be concerned about or a little bit private about. So anyway, I don't know who lives in either one of these houses, but I mean, I have the country, state, city, street, house number, and zip code for both of those houses. If anybody really wants those house directions or details, and you have a good reason to need those addresses, contact me and I'll consider it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time.